So, a lot of my listening to the Bible has been about the Israelites. I watched Exodus, Gods, and Kings, don't recommend it. I'd watched part of it before, but not all of it. I watched all of it, and I don't recommend it. It didn't do Exodus justice. But it got me thinking, and I wanted to share a few thoughts. Now then, all these people get ready to cross the Jordan. I'm in Joshua. Get ready to cross the Jordan River unto the land I am about to give to them. To the Israelites I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses. Your territory will extend from the desert of Lebanon and from the great river of Euphrates to the Hittite and all the Hittite country, to the Mediterranean Sea and the west. No one is able to stand against you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so will I be with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, because you will lead these people to inherit the land which I swore to them and their ancestors, to give them. Now, quickly turn backwards to Numbers 13:26. Quick recap. Someone from each of the 12 tribes of Israel has gone into Canaan and searched the country. It's actually very fascinating. I highly recommend you read Numbers 13. A lot of people think the Bible is, at least the beginning part of the Bible, isn't interesting and it's all laws and regulations, and the whole Bible is a promise. The whole Bible is joy and is hope, and we don't mine it correctly. But the Bible is hope and joy. You just got to learn how to study it. But anyway, that was a tangent I didn't mean to go on. They came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the desert of Paran, and they reported to them, saying, the whole assembly showed them the fruit of the land, and they gave Moses this account. We went to the land which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. To all new Christians or people not Christians, that just means the land was fertile. It's now what we would call modern day Israel. Just means the land was fertile and good for living in. So if you were ever confused by that, like I was when I was a kid, and no one was able to answer that question, now you have an answer. It just means it's fertile. It's not wet and sticky like you think. It's just fertile. Here is its fruit. And in verse 28 of Numbers 13, it says, "But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities fortified and very large." We saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in the Negev. The Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites lived near the sea along the Jordan. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "We should go and take possession over the land, and for we certainly can do it." But the men who had gone up with him said, "We can't attack these people. They are stronger than we are, and they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land that they had explored. They had said, 'The land we explored devours the living in it, and the people we saw are great in size. We saw Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak came from Nephilim.'" I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but whatever. Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. What I want to say about these few verses that I read is that if you're going to get anywhere in the Christian community, in this life as a Christian, you're going to have to get rid of your old mindset. The reason none of the modern Israelites in this chapter gained access in Joshua, they wandered around in circles for another 40 years until every Israelite died that was from that generation because of the end of this chapter and 14 and beyond. Even Moses died for a separate reason, but even Moses died. He got to see the promised land, but he didn't actually enter it until Jesus was on Mount Transfiguration in his newly formed in his glorified body. But if you're going to get anywhere in life, you've got to get rid of your old mindset that I can't do it. You got to put on the new mindset that God has given me this opportunity to do it, and I'm going to do it. And that's really what I wanted to say. Jesus didn't die on the cross and give us a free life of eternity in heaven and give us a way to overcome our problems on earth so we can sit in our problem and just sit there. You have to have an overcomer mentality. And that's what I wanted to say. You have to think like God. And you have to think like, I can do this. God's given it to me, and I'm going to do it. And if God really doesn't want you to have it, He'll make sure you know. But you don't know until you try.